My name is Ben. I'm one of the tech support guys over here at IDX Broker, and we're going to go over some of the basics of what comes with an office level account. So just to give you a brief outline of some of the items that we're going to cover, just about the basics of an office level account. We're going to go over some of the things that allow you to edit your team. So one of the benefits that people have with office level account is that you can not only, feature your own listings, you can feature listings from people within your office as well. And you can add or edit agents to your IDX Broker account. Another feature that you can use is if you have a platinum level account, you can import your agents directly from the MLS. So just, is a convenient thing to do if you have a platinum level account. And you can also manage your roster. So we have a roster page on the IDX Broker side that people can use as just sort of a landing page to, get agent information and whatnot. Moving on from that, we'll also cover some of the things you have in place for assigning leads to agents within your office. So we'll go over some contact routing options, like such as round robin or core fields or combination of both. So we'll go over that briefly. And then we'll also go over how you can assign specific agents to saved links, or, like their saved links are our version of landing pages. So you can have a specific person tied to a link, and then any leads that come in through that would be assigned to that agent. So we'll touch on that towards the middle there. And then we'll also, to finish off, go over some of the things that your agents themselves will have at their disposal. Like they'll have an agent level account where they can manage their own bio, or, like go over like the subheader where you can include text already at the top of the page. A lot of agents like to have their own personal banner up at the very top. So you can go over how to do that. And we'll also go over the featured agent showcase. So there's a little widget that you can embed on any page, and it will take you to an agent bio page. And then after that, we'll finish off with some Q&A. All right, so now we're logged into the IDX Broker account. I just have my demo account pulled up here. And if you want to access the agent section, you would just go down to account and then users and then agents. So continuing on, we're just going to go over, where you can go to add and edit agents within your account. As you can see, I've already got a couple that are in here. And if you wanted to add a new one, you would just go up here to the upper right-hand corner. And sorry, let me go back real quick. In order to get to this page, that's just under account and then users and then agents. So you've got that. And then once you get in there, you would just go to the upper right-hand corner and then click add agent. Once you're on this section, honestly, the only things that are required is a username and a password to actually create a profile. So you could just put something in here. I'll just do like, Joe agent, and then just, put in a really insecure password. But honestly, I would also recommend including some basic contact information, such as, like your first and last name, Joe agent. So I'll just do that. Joe agent. Okay. All right. And then that's pretty much all you need in order to actually create an agent profile in there. You just scroll down to the bottom and then click Save Changes, but you can always go back and add in more information going forward. But just for demonstration purposes, just showing you how to do that there. So once you go back to agents, you'll see that agent profile has been added to the account. If you need to, you can always edit it going forward. So you can go over here to the right and then click this Edit Agent icon. And once you go there, all right, and this will take you into their profile. And then again, it's that same page, so you can, edit their contact information. You can change their role. So maybe you've got like management or just staff. Most people are agents or brokers, like that's why it's automatically assigned there. So you can check down here. Another cool feature, if you have a platinum level account, you can input this agent's phone number under SMS alerts. And then if you opt in, what will happen is, whatever number that you put in there will receive a text message as soon as this particular lead, this particular agent is assigned a lead by the IDX Broker system. So that's a really convenient feature for a lot of agents. If you got a platinum level account, definitely recommend taking advantage of that. And then down here at the very bottom is where you can insert some just basic bio information. So you can do that. If we go back up here to the top, and so you can manually create agent profiles just by going through the steps that I went through before. But you can also just get that information straight from the MLS too. So if you have a platinum level account, you could just click import in the upper right hand corner here. And then it's basically going to give you a list of available agents. This is my demo account, so I don't really have any on me, but it'll tie in any agents that have like active listings where they're the primary. And if you wanted to, you can also check this box to include inactive agents. So that'll just, pull in anything that we have from the MLS, basically any agent profile there. So that's a really convenient tool. It saves you some time, but if you have a light level account, you can also just create those agent profiles too. Let me make sure that I touch on some of the other things you have available here. So I'm just going to go back and then go to the Edit Agent section. If you need to, you can go to this photo section. So this is where you can go to upload like an agent photo. So you can either just grab the URL or the link from a page and then just put it in there. Or if you have it saved locally on your computer, you could just upload the photo and choose the file there. The MLS tab, this allows you to tie in a specific like MLS ID. Like every agent has an ID in the MLS. So if you import the agent, that should automatically be assigned. But you can also choose it from a list of available agents, or you can also manually input the number too. So just a couple of options that are available to you. We can skip over the subheader. Like I said before, this is where a lot of agents go to put in their own personal banner. The permissions section, this allows you to control how much access your agents will have when editing their own accounts. We'll go over that in more detail towards the end here. But maybe you don't want to give them the option to modify their own listings. You kind of want to have control over that. So by default, that's not selected. But if you want to give them that access, you can just check this box and then hit Save Changes. And then they'll be able to change their own listings going forward. A couple other things you can also determine in the roster tab if they actually show up on the roster page. So maybe some agents maybe they're not ready to have their profile out there or anything. You can just uncheck this box and then they won't show up on your roster page. So yeah, that's something that you can do too. Just a few other things here. The property update tab, this allows you to, this allows them to have their own personal signature or subheaders for when emails about properties that have updated go out to their leads. So this allows you to control that in more detail there. And you can even choose languages. This is an interesting one that I discovered the other day. If someone's maybe bilingual or knows multiple languages, you can select these boxes and it allows people to be able to filter out agents that know a specific language, for instance. So that's a neat feature for sure. Just going really quickly over some of those features there. You can always refer to our knowledge base if you want to get more in depth with how detailed you can edit our agents there. But for now, let's go to managing the roster page. So we've got some agent profiles already created here. So if you want to manage the roster, you would just go up here to the left side in the navigation. That's actually going to be under Design, and then Website, and then Rosters. And once you go to that page, this will allow you to select an office. By default, it'll have just the basic office that's assigned to your account already. But you can also create multiple offices. So maybe if you're a really big brokerage and you have multiple offices within the MLS, you can also differentiate that way. If you want to adjust the ordering of how your agents display, you would just click View Roster Page Ordering. And then in the second step here, it'll show a list of the agents that are created within the IDX Broker account. And then you have these two buttons here. If you want to just sort them by ascending order, it's going to sort them by first name. So if you click that, it'll just put them in alphabetical order there. But maybe if you wanted to do it more custom, you can also just click and then drag and drop these. Maybe I want Larry up at the very top here. I'll just do that, and then it will automatically save. Just give me that green growler in the upper right-hand corner there. Yeah, so those are some of the features you have available when just editing your team in general. Let's go over some of the things we have in place for when leads come in. So you've got your team organized. Who's getting the leads? So if you want control over specifically how that functions within your IDX Broker account, you would just go over here to the left again, and then go to Leads, and then Contact Routing. Once you're on that page, you'll land here, and then you'll just want to make sure that Contact Routing is set to Enabled. So that should be enabled there. And then we have 3 different types of Contact Routing. So there's Core Fields, Round Robin, and then a combination of both, Core Fields and Round Robin. Core Fields, this allows you to specifically create specific conditions that determine where leads will go when they're, like filling out a contact form or just, signing up with a profile. So basically this determines, like, maybe you have a specific agent that only works in like a handful of zip codes or something like that. So you can maybe assign that agent, and then whenever a lead comes in that is looking for a listing in one of those specific zip codes, then like that lead would go to that particular agent. So that's kind of, basically how core fields work. You can do zip codes, price ranges, cities, counties, like any of the basic core fields there. You can also go just round robin, and this allows you to, basically just put them on a, rotating cycle. So like it'll, go to the first agent, and if a lead, signs up, it'll go to that guy, then move on to the next one in order, and the next one, and so on and so forth. So that's kind of basically what round robin is. And then you can also do a combination of both. So, as you can imagine, you can, if you have multiple agents that work in the same zip code, you can maybe like create a core fields area. So maybe like 3 or 4 zip codes, and then you can assign individual agents into that core field, and then it will go round robin based on what order they're in. So that kind of is very briefly how those 3 different types are set up. This option here, trigger next agent, this will be, so when someone has that lead sign up form pop up on the, like when they're looking at listings or pages and whatnot, you can determine like who gets put in the order next. So you can determine if it moves on to the next agent when the form itself loads. You can also determine if it moves on to the next agent if someone actually submitted the form, like they signed up as a lead. So that this is mainly for so that like agents don't get skipped ahead, like in some agents might be like, why am I not getting leads? And so if you have it set to on load, it's just because someone landed on that form and then exited out and then came back. So if you want that set on submit would be probably the fairest option there, but it's totally up to you if you want. So, these other ones, like if you have your own CRM set up, you can choose to just have it, instead of like be routed within our system, you can use a direct email. So like instead of it coming through to the IDX broker system, that lead information would go straight to the agent's email address. So you can have that set up if you want. And then on each agent's profile page, they'll show up the contact this agent text instead of showing the email address. But if you want to display the email address, you can also choose from this box and then set that instead. It essentially has the same function. It's just not putting the agent's email address out there in the open. So totally up to you if you want to do that. And then let me just show you an example of how we would set up like contact routing with core fields and round robin. So if you want to do that, well, first let me make sure that these changes are saved. And if you want to create your own route, you would just go up here to the upper right-hand corner and then click Manage Contact Routing. Once you land on this page, you would click this blue button where it says Add New Contact Route. And once you're here, this window will pop up. And let's just use the example that I had before. Maybe I just have a handful of zip codes, but from this drop-down menu, you can choose from any of these options here. If you even have multiple MLSs on your account, you can also sort by those as well. So maybe you have specific, if you're like a really big office, then, and you're spanning multiple MLSs, that's another option that's there too. But let's just stick with zip codes. So I'll choose that. And then it's just going to have a list of any of these available zip codes. I have a lot because this is my test account. Let's just say that there are these 4 that I want to use. So I can check this, make sure that these are all selected. And if I want to get more specific, I can also choose listings that meet these, low to high price ranges, square footage, acreage, any of that option too. But I'll just say these 4 zip codes and call it good. And then if I continue down here, towards the bottom, there's the list of available agents. And then over here on the right is the actual round robin list. So, let's say that it's Curly and Larry that are the ones that are working in those 4 zip codes. So all I would do is just click this plus icon, and then it puts them in this round robin list. But, let's say Larry wants to be the guy who's in first. I could just click and then move that, rearrange that in any order that I want. So, that's you can customize this round robin list just to make sure that it's in the order that you want. And once you're good with this, you would just click this blue button to save the changes up. Once you do that, Now you'll see that it's successfully saved this contact route. So now you've got this as one available contact route in the IDX Broker account. So now anytime that a lead signs up on a list with a listing that has one of these particular zip codes, then it would go to either Larry or it would go to Curly. So yeah, like you can make this as detailed or and complex or as simple as you want it to be. So that's just scratching the surface of some of the things that you can do with contact routing there. If you want to create like a specific landing page, and maybe this agent is working on in a specific like subdivision or community, using assigning them to a saved link is also a really good option too. If we just go to design over here on the left, and then website, and then saved links. So I've got a number of links that are already created here. And let's say I want to assign agents to this saved link up here at the very top. I would just go over here to the right and then click Edit Preferences. And then it should be just right at the bottom here. So I would click that, and then you just make sure that it's on the Preferences tab. And then you scroll all the way down here to the bottom. And then there's the Agent Assignment section. So you can choose one of the available agents from this drop-down list. Maybe I just want it to be assigned to Joe. I'll click Save Changes. And now anytime that someone lands on this saved link and then, fills out a contact form on that page, then Joe would be the one that gets assigned that lead. So a lot of people like to, enable it so that the leads are asked to sign up as soon as they land on a saved link. So that's one way to really guarantee that that agent is getting these specific leads. But yeah, so this is a lot of the things that you have control over if you're like the administrator of your IDX broker account. But you can also give your agents their own access to their sort of like agent portals, so they can manage their own bios, manage their own subheaders, or whatever you want to allow them to modify on their own. So let's go back here. If we just go to account over here on the left, go to users, and then go to agents. So, again, this is your list of agents, and they have their own agent level accounts. If they need their own like login credentials, if they need their username and password in order to actually get access, you can always send them the credentials. If you just go over here to the far right and then click this little letter icon, it'll basically send the username and password to the primary email that we have within the agent profile. So, if they're ever asking about that, you can always just send them the credentials. But if we actually go into the agent profile, you can click this icon here to log in as the agent. And as you can see, it's a very similar dashboard to the one that you land on in the IDX broker account, but there are a lot fewer options available here over on the left. So it kind of allows you to control and specify exactly what an agent can access on their side. But they'll have their own dashboard, their own message center, so they'll be notified whenever a new lead signs up with them and whatnot. They'll even be able to manage their own leads that get in there, so you can check that out, and they'll be able to access any of their leads and follow up with them that way too. Like initially they'll be kind of restricted on the things that they can modify on their end, but if you want to give them more permission, let's just exit out of this here real quick. It kind of goes back to what I mentioned earlier in the webinar. You would just go to this icon to edit the agent, and then go to the permissions tab. And maybe I trust Joe. He's a good guy. He knows what he's doing, so I can trust him to modify his own bio page, modify his own listings if I want. He probably wants to keep his own leads, so I'll just leave that unchecked. So I'll just click Save Changes there. So now, if we go back into Joe's account here, just go click this button to log in as the agent. So now you'll see that there's more options that are available within his agent dashboard. So, you can see up here over home, if you click on bio is now an option. You also have the listing section that's showing up now. And if you click on bio, Joe will now have the ability to modify his own account information. So he can change his own username, password, email address, all of that stuff. Also modify his own bio information too. So, and then any of these other options that are available up top too. So you basically give the agent the freedom to, customize their own accounts, if you will. But you can also lock that down if you have a point person in charge that's managing all of that. A lot of people like to include a lot of information in their bio. As I mentioned before, agents can also include their own specific subheader, which can be used for, like their own like contact information card. They can even just include that, like just some like a basic like hello message, things like that. So they can make this very complex, and this is also where they can go to embed specific like HTML code if they're tech savvy and wanted to get more leads and have a Google Pixel or Facebook Pixel or things like that, there are some options that are available that way. But yeah, that's just kind of scratching the surface on some of the things you can do there. Let's go back to the account and we'll just really quickly go over the featured agent showcase widget. So that's something that allows you to, it's sort of like a rotating list of like agents that are available, and it allows you to like embed a link to their profile directly to like on your homepage or something like that. So, maybe you want to showcase this agent, you can have a widget that's available for that. That's just located under design, website, and then widgets. Now, I believe when you first have the account activated, it's not one of the ones that's created by default, so you might have to create one of your own. It's pretty easy to do. All you have to do is just go up here to the upper right and then click Create New. And you would just, from this button here, click on that. Very bottom, choose Featured Agent. And it's, kind of a simple widget. You don't really have to customize it very much. So I'll just, call this one Test here. And then if you click Build Widget, the last step is going to give you this little bit of embed code or HTML that you just copy and paste into the website. And then where that code goes will be where the widget itself shows up. Just to kind of give you a preview of what it looks like, you can, just click this Preview Widget button. Yeah, so it's a pretty simple widget. I mean, all it's really going to do is just, show the photo of the agent, give the agent the name, and then, if you refresh it, it'll, randomly choose one of the other agents that's available in the list. So, we've got Larry here. It'll move on to Mo. If, so basically on every page load, it will show a different agent that comes through there. So that's sort of the basic idea of the featured agent showcase. It allows you to just, stick it on a page somewhere so that someone can, look at that face and say, hey, I've worked with that guy before. I want to follow up with him on this particular listing. So, and then again, this is going to pull from your list of agents that are tied to the IDX Broker account. So those are a lot of the basics of getting started with, your office level account. I mean, there's a lot that you can unpack. I mean, I know that a lot, at least on the support side, we usually say that, if you need to bring in more featured listings, you need to get like a higher office level account, because that allows you to get more seats and pull in more listings automatically from the MLS. But there's a lot of other features that are available too. So I hope that this webinar kind of like sheds some light on some of the things that you can do. And, it's ultimately up to you if you think that it's the best fit for you. But yeah, we have a little bit of time left here at the end. Does anybody have any additional questions or things I can answer while we do that? Oh, Karen, good question. If you ever needed to check and see what level account you have, you can go to, if you're logged in, you would just go to Account and then Upgrade. It's not actually going to upgrade your account or anything like that, but it just lets you know what the current account type is. So it'll show you that you've got a platinum level account. And then if you ever needed to upgrade or downgrade, you can do so at any time. You would just, so if you needed to go down to light, you just check this box and then submit now, and your account should downgrade right then. Yeah, another question. If you wanted to, oftentimes that widget, if you want to showcase an agent, I know that the featured agent widget will just, choose from the rotating list of agents within the account. If you wanted to do it on a specific agent, I mean, honestly, I think the way that I've seen most people do it is they'll have a saved link, and then, they'll have like a button or something like that on the website, and then link that saved link to the account. Or you could also just link to their bio page using that button too. So that's something that you can do. Yeah, exactly, James. So yeah, you've got the account type here. If you needed to actually get an office level account, you can go to the multi-user tab, and then you can see a breakdown of the different levels that are available there too. Yeah, good point. On the MLS side, I know that, yeah, so if you're referring to like an agent within the MLS account, or like just in the MLS data, I should say, I know that the way that we receive those IDs, so, like if you go to account and then featured IDs, and then you go to agent IDs, this will give you a list of any of the agents that, you have tied to the account and everything. But, like we basically get this list from the office ID that we receive from the MLS. And then within that ID is where we get that list of agents, essentially. So yeah, on the MLS side, I'm not as versed on that, but I know that that's at least how we get the IDs for the agents from the MLS there. Yeah. Another thing real quick is you can also, like when you're logged into the admin panel, when you're on the leads manage page, you'll also see if a specific lead is assigned to a particular agent. So, let's say that this guy was assigned to like Mo or Larry. Let's just say Mo here. Yeah, so this is another good point. If you want to actually manually assign a lead, you can do that whenever. So, I'm logged into like the specific lead information, and if you wanted to manually assign a lead, you would just go to Edit Lead and go down here to the very bottom, and then under Account Settings, you would just choose Assigned Agent, and then I'll just assign this guy to Larry, save changes. Larry will be notified that he has a new lead. And then if you go back to leads and then manage, you'll see that Larry's name is now showing up as the guy who's, working with that particular lead. So, like if you're doing round robin, and that sort of automates the process if you don't want to go in and micromanage it, but you can always overwrite that and then just manually assign someone that way. All right, sorry, I had one slip in there. Sorry, Ginger. Yeah, so other widgets that we have available. So there's some that vary, like we have a number that are available depending on your account level with us. I know that ones that are light and platinum are going to be the quick search widget. You also have the lead login widget, and then the featured showcase, featured slideshow. A lot of these things come to you out of the box. So like these ones are automatically created here. And if you wanted to create some, custom widgets of your own, you can always go up here to the upper right hand corner and then click create new. And then, from there you can, choose from a list of available ones here. Some might be restricted. I know the map search widget is a platinum level one, as well as the lead sign up widget. So these ones, if you're a light level, that won't be available. But and I think featured agent is only available if you have a office level account. But if you need more information specifically on widgets, let me pull up our knowledge base here, because this will basically list out any of the widgets that we have. So let me just do that. See if I can pull that up. Here we go. Yeah, so if you just type in widgets, the first option will take you to this knowledge base article, creating and managing widgets. And then from here are a number of links that will go into more specifics about each and particular type of widget. So yeah, but if you have more questions, you can always reach out to us too. Yeah. Jason, so managing leads has set up automated follow-up via text or email. So there are some things that automate that process already within the IDX broker system. And so for example, if you ever need to see any incoming or outgoing messages that, are being sent to your leads, or sent to your agents as well, you could always go to messages and then message center. And oftentimes it's going to be, like verifying email addresses, like agents will be notified when a new lead has signed up. So, you can see that this was sent to this particular email address. You could even click on the subject line and then get a preview of that. So there's a lot of things that the system takes care of for you automatically. Things such as, like following up with leads, properties that have had like a price or status change. The system will automatically send them like a daily email whenever a property has had one of those conditions met. So, that's something you don't really have to worry about on your end. And then, leads will be notified. But yeah, when searches or properties have had some sort of status update, agents will be notified when a new lead has joined up with them. So there's a lot of things that the system takes care of you automatically there. And then if you needed to, specifically for SMS or text messages, point you in the right direction here. Again, on our knowledge base, I believe it's going to be this article. Yeah, if you just type in SMS messaging, we'll go over like how you can specifically set that up within the IDX Broker account. Yeah, it's definitely, it's a platinum level feature, but it's one that a lot of people take advantage of for sure. Oh, good question. Jason's question was, when a lead signs up, how does their new account get activated? So when a lead comes into the IDX Broker system, well, there's kind of different pathways that they can, be, notified as a lead. So when there's a difference between signing up as a lead and then filling out like one of the contact forms. So our contact forms down here. So if, let's say someone, for example, filled out some information on the contact page, or, requested more information or wanted to schedule a showing, their information will come in under leads and then manage, but it won't actually give them an account. So they'll come in and their contact information will be saved. But if someone, like they're not going to have their own account that they can log into. If someone saves a property or saves a search, like they picked out a specific listing, said, all right, I want to keep this one for safekeeping, then it will ask them to fill out a sign up form or create an account, and then they'll give their information. And then once they fill that out, then they'll be created, they'll have their own account created within the IDX broker system. And then from there, they can, log in, sign in with their email address that they provided, And then from there, they'll have their own kind of portal that they can log into where they'll be able to manage any listings that they've got saved. So this is an example of what the lead themselves would see. So, they'll have any saved searches they've got, saved properties and whatnot. And if they're asking about like, how they can log in and all that stuff, you can always just let them know it's just, the email address that they signed up with there. So yeah, lead status. That's a tricky one for sure. I know that. Let me show you this article here, because there's a number of different statuses. There we go. There we go. Yeah. So if you need these for your own, it's under lead management overview. This is a good article as well. Specifically, the different statuses are listed out down here. So the most common one that you'll see is probably either unverified or verified or unsubscribed. This means that, maybe this lead doesn't want to receive emails anymore, so they basically unsubscribed from the service there. A verified lead will mean that they've, clicked the link that's in the email that they were sent that basically says like, yes, I'm actually interested in this. I've signed up, so I'm a verified lead. And then the no account status, that's like what I mentioned before, when someone fills out like a contact form or like one of those other things. So then that would be the status that they're given. The blacklisted status is if something, like in our system picks them up as like, malicious lead, and then they would be blocked. So if you see anything like that, that's our attempt to just block them for you there. So yeah, if you need more details, it would be on that knowledge base article that's linked there. Roger, to answer your question, so if you have a platinum level account, that's sort of like a different kind of status versus like the office level. For more details, that's just going to be under account and then upgrade. Yeah, so the best way that I usually describe this is there's the account type, which basically gives you more tools in your toolbox if you have a platinum level account. But there's also the multi-user section under the Upgrade Center. So if you need to assign multiple agents, you would just click on this tab. And then from here, this would allow you to basically determine the number of seats that you have available there. Yeah, good question, because that kind of gets people tripped up sometimes. Good questions. Yeah, I like this. I'm hoping that this is helpful for you guys. I might have to call it here just because we're kind of getting towards the end here. But if you ever needed to follow up with us, if there's something I didn't answer, if you need more explanation, let me give you our contact info. Our hours are Monday through Friday from 6 o'clock in the morning to 5 in the afternoon Pacific Standard Time. And then our number here is 800-421-9668. So that's our contact information here. If you're actually logged into the account too, we do have live chat that's available. So you could just work on stuff within your account and then just chat with us. One of our reps will be logged in there. So that's probably the way I would do it, honestly, just because I like to work and then, I can have the chat open as I'm getting things done there. So. And as always, you can always refer to our knowledge base, which is at support.idxbroker.com. There's a lot of good documentation that's available there. We're always happy to help. Yeah, just definitely let us know. I hope this was informative. Thank you all for coming today, and hope you have a great rest of your day. Hope to hear from you soon.